I'm Carol Kelso, right here in the studio of Thomasville Today, and I am so excited about the next interview. Aleks Arwood, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
This is going to be fantastic, what you have and what you are doing for our community and maybe even the nation. So you are a junior at Georgia in the School of Journalism, and you have a story. But first, let me back up just a little bit. You're Miss Greater Atlanta
Yes,
for
ma'am.
2024, which has propelled you into the Miss Georgia contest 2024 this summer. Coming up, what, 29 days?
About 29, almost 28. We're getting there.
Well, you're doing great.
thank
We're
you.
so happy to have you represent Thomasville.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. You have an initiative, but first let's hear your personal story and how this initiative came about.
Of course. So I'm a Thomasville local, but like you said, I'm a junior at the University of Georgia. But in 2022, I actually joined the Miss America organization under the state of Georgia. So last year I competed as the title of Miss Albany, and this past year I have won the title of Miss Greater Atlanta. But Miss Georgia and the Miss America organization does this wonderful thing where it provides young women with the opportunity to do a community service initiative. So I created Lonely Like You, which is a platform that is dedicated to unmasking and unveiling the epidemic of loneliness.
Wow. Lonely Like You.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the podcast in just a minute.
Yes.
So, you know, I've read some of your notes beforehand. I've never heard of an initiative like this because, Aleks, you're an attractive, intelligent, you were very connected in high school and community and all the activities, and yet you experience loneliness.
Yes. So I originally started my freshman year at the University of Mississippi, and I'm 10 hours away from home when I'm there, and I have never felt so lonely in my entire life.
That's something.
It's a massive school filled with massive amounts of people that are also feeling lonely. But the really cool thing was I went through sorority recruitment, and I was in this large group of girls, and I could very clearly tell that there was so much disconnect between every single one of those women.
Wow.
But the really cool thing was there was this little girl standing next to me, not little, she's also 21, but probably comes up to my shoulder, and she looked up to me and she goes, "Oh, you're really tall, but we're going to be really good friends."
How about that?
I know, just a random little meaningful connection that I didn't know how much I would need throughout that year. But we got to talking, we became really close friends, and we both were realizing that we were experiencing a severe amount of loneliness. So the two of us together decided to work on that and find other girls who are also feeling the same way. But then I had the opportunity of joining Miss Georgia and the Miss America organization, but I got to take that to a community level and then on to state.
Let me interject. So many people think of Miss Georgia and Miss Greater Atlanta. Oh, it's just a pageant, but it is far more than a pageant. You have Miss America has such a broad platform,
Yes.
and so tell us a little bit about how you are changing the world around you with your initiative.
So I have to say this about the Miss America organization because it's so near and dear to my heart, but this is a scholarship program. So
absolutely.
we earn so much scholarship money that goes directly towards our education, which is something that Miss America pushes so hard, which I absolutely love. But I really got involved with it because, like I said, I saw it in our communities. But having that opportunity to go into the communities and speak to people and get them to understand that this is something that we are all dealing with, but we're not doing anything about it. So knowing that I get to be a voice and get to be in this little corner of the world making a difference is something that I knew I needed to take on.
Point out some of the consequences that we just don't realize are happening when we're alone and lonely.
Yes. So Dr. Vivek Murthy actually did an advisory report, and within his report, he talked about the detriments. It is up to smoking 15 cigarettes a day is the same effect as what loneliness can do to yourself.
Wait, repeat that?
15 cigarettes a day is the same effect as being lonely.
Wow.
And the crazy thing is, it leads to premature death, stroke, dementia, heart disease, crazy things that you wouldn't think loneliness would impact you with.
No, not at all. So that's what you're bringing to the platform.
Yes.
And now you've got a podcast.
I do.
Have you had the first episode?
I do. I've had 2 episodes up. I did a little introduction one to kind of explain my story.
Okay.
And the last one I did was about coping mechanisms with Mindy Roberts, who is also a Thomasville native.
Yep.
She's up in Atlanta right now, but I have a couple more interviews about to be published.
Okay.
But it's all about just hearing people's stories and hearing what they're doing for their own communities and seeing what they can do for other people.
Now, how can I find you?
It's on Spotify for the
Okay.
podcast, but to find me in general, I am on Instagram and Facebook under Miss Greater Atlanta and under Lonely Like You.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
What a great initiative. I just don't think I've ever heard of one like this. So we're excited. Our very own Aleks Arwood, and can't wait to follow you and just hear more about you. And best wishes.
Well, thank
best
you.
wishes. And I think you're going to do great. We've just so enjoyed having you here and talking to us about how you're changing the world around you. Appreciate that.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
That's Aleks Arwood, Lonely Like You, the podcast. You can find on Spotify. And also, let's follow Aleks on her Instagram under
Miss Greater Atlanta and Lonely Like You.
All right, there you go. This is an exciting initiative. It's really going to change our community. Thank you so much for watching. We'll never know where we're going to be or what we will be doing, but we do know it will be good.